Rough Boys by Pete Townshend. I know the lyrics are a little weird, but remember that track, Rough Boys? Man, that is some. You remember it, don't you? I wasn't just playing that. I was playing some other shit, but I started thinking about Rough Boys right when I was getting done playing what I was playing. Man, let's listen to this real quick. Let me find it on the YouTubes. It might have been a minute since you heard this. Rough Boys. You remember it? I mean, it is chock full of some of my favorite guitar playing, which is a really great example of why Pete Townshend is my second favorite guitar player of all time. And I've said that many times. There's a part in the middle where it just has all the youthful energy you could ever want out of a rock and roll guitar. I mean, dig this, man. All right, we've heard this song a million times, right? Starts out with the great guitar bit. And he leaves a couple out. Great. Listen how ferocious this is. I want to bite and kiss you. What? So the part in the middle, sick guitar playing, man. What? That's amazing. I love when a guy's trying to get something out of an amp that doesn't have quite enough gain, and he's just digging so hard to try to get something out of it. Man, I just love that. Like, you know, when a guitar just fights you, like you can tell he's fighting with that thing right there, and it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Okay, so I got some VCB. Oh, first of all, thanks for the kind words about the last couple of videos I put up. Well, not just the instrumental ones, but the last couple. These. Chops versus Feel and Thrill to this exciting new sound of stereo. Lots of sweet comments in there from you guys. What was wrong with it? Talking about, you know, how much, you know, you appreciate the talking and the playing. Thank you guys. You know, man, I'm not going to change anything. Don't worry, I'm not thinking about changing the format or anything, but I just appreciate that you guys said that, you know, you feel like there's some wisdom in the talking, you know. I think what you're feeling more than anything is just 54 years of great pain and agony coming out. You know, just, you're feeling that, you know, because there is wisdom in pain, you know. So, also want to, I might go down to Groons later. In fact, I am going down to Groons later today. Going to do a little video down there. We haven't done one in a while. Get to see the boys. Thanks for all the participation in the Larry's Garage sales. Those items are all sold. Thank you so much for your interest. Even if you didn't get the guitar or whatever, I appreciate the emails. I want to say thanks to that guy Vintage Pipes Nightmare, who was the guy that said that I was my business model was telling people that the guitars are amazing just so I could sell them. And one guy said, I really liked it when you told that guy to fuck off 3 times. Well, here's 4. Fuck off. All right, so there's going to be more instruments. You know, don't worry. If don't feel like left out. If you haven't gotten to be an early bird on some of these garage sale videos, don't worry, man. There's going to be all kind of shit. I've always got stuff. It never ends. You know me, man. I just love flipping gear, buying it, playing it, learning about it, and selling it. I keep a few things. I kept this 54 Esquire that my friend Greg Voros gave me. You know, what's funny about this guitar? I'll tell you the brutal, honest truth. This thing, it took me a long time to start liking this guitar. It's funny how, you know how sometimes when you're on a gig and you meet a whole bunch of new people at once, usually the person that you thought was a total dick at first is the guy you end up really liking at the end of it all. I've noticed that some of the coolest gear I've ever ended up with in my life is stuff that I didn't really like that much at first. And it just grows on you, and then you start appreciating it for what it is. People are the same way. And conversely, usually when you meet that new group of people, whoever you hit it off with right out of the gate is never the guy you end up hanging with at the end. Did you ever notice that? Human nature. I remember when I got on the Vince Gill gig years ago, the tour manager, Dan Waters, is a sweet, sweet old guy, but you know, I thought he hated me. We had a couple of early emails kind of go wrong. I was joking around. He didn't think it was funny. And really ice cold for the first several months I was in the band. You know, I thought he hated me. I never talked to him. And then at the end of it all, he was the guy that I would sit up at the front of the bus when everybody else was in the back. Me and him and the driver, Ronnie Mullins, would sit there and just talk all night. Became my guy out there, you know, and we used to joke around. I thought you hated me, man. I thought you hated me. But it's just funny how that works, man. That's human nature. And same thing with gear. Like this guitar was ice cold to me for a long time, and I kept bringing it back to Greg. Go, man, it's doing this and doing it. The neck was all squirrely, but man, I changed some shit on it. I kept fucking with it, and it's gotten somewhere. It's turned into something. Like this pickup is from a 1960 Tele Custom. This is an original Blackbird, like a real one and this guitar is a 54. It's had a few alterations along the way, but it's mostly original. Beautiful neck. But I really like it now. And it's funny because for a long time I wanted to sell it, even though it was a gift, and I never sell gifts because that's bad juju. But it's a cool guitar. Sometimes you just gotta hang in there. It probably goes for marriage too, although I wouldn't know. All these types of things. So, hey Tom, what's your favorite Genesis record and your favorite Yes record? Great question. Yes, I love that. I love that question. You know, after many years of thinking and pondering and listening, I think The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is my favorite Genesis album. There's moments of all of their records that I absolutely adore. But I think overall, see, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is Genesis's equivalent of the Beatles' White Album. And I'm not just saying that because the cover's white. It's a double record, just like the White Album was. It's full of a lot of sort of oddball outtakes, just like the White Album was. But there's just so much great shit on the Lamb. So much great shit. I mean, the Lamia. Fucking The Light Dies Down on Broadway. Lily White Lilith. Chamber of 32 Doors, which is Gabriel's all-time greatest vocal, in my humble opinion. So much great shit. Counting Out Time. Cuckoo Cocoon. I mean, okay, and then as far as Yes goes, that's a little harder for me. Overall, even though I'm a little tired of it because my kids have been wearing it out, it probably has to be Fragile, 1972. It's a bit of a cliche answer because it is definitely their most well-known. It's even in the School of Rock. You know, remember when Jack Black hands the kid the Yes Fragile record and says, "Listen to this for your homework"? I thought that was awesome. But it really is their best record. It is their epic crowning achievement. Every band has one of those apex moments, like Radiohead, OK Computer. If that was the only record they ever made, it would have been amazing. It didn't really matter what came before or after that. You know, the Cars' first 2 albums, the Police. I feel like Zenyatta Madonna was their crowning achievement. You know, their 3rd album. Steely Dan, tough one. I mean, you'd have to go with Gaucho, wouldn't you? No, it'd have to be Asia. Asia was probably their crowning achievement. But yeah, I think overall, Yes, Fragile was my favorite Yes record. Although I really love Close to the Edge. I really love Tales from Topographic Oceans, which is funny because a lot of people hate that album. I even like weird stuff like Drama and Tormato, albums that even Yes fans don't like. There's some horrible stuff on Tormato, but there's also some amazing stuff. There's a song on Tormato that is so terrible that if I was going to torture somebody, I would just lock them in a room and just play this song over and over. It's called Release, Release. Have you ever heard that one? It's the worst shit you've ever heard in your life. But on the same album, there's a song called Future Times, which is fucking amazing. It goes like this. Like that. Remember that one? Oh, dude. Okay, so listen to that song, Future Times by Yes. It's on an album that nobody likes, Tormato. Everyone complains about the buzz that this amp has when I'm talking. I can't. It's free video. And then one guy said, hold your guitar up higher. I can't see what you're doing. Come on, man. You can see what I'm doing. Hey, Tom, do you like the new Keeley Noble Screamer? Yes, I do. I actually been using it on that live board that I've been using on the Jimmy Irsay gig. It's sort of off to the side. I've got the 4 pedals on this little tiny board, and then I have Ebo stick that one off to the side. It's great. If you like the sound of the guitar on that Who thing, that live video where I was playing that riff from Love Reign Over Me, that's what you're hearing. There it is. But to be fair, everything sounds great with that SG Special. Drew said he's noticed a spike in SG Special sales lately. And Ebo's noticed a spike in Evo Reverb sales, which I think is really great. I think we should get him to make as many of those as possible so that they're out there in the world. He's probably only made a couple hundred so far, but that's not enough examples. I feel like if we can separate him from his family and keep him out in the garage soldering all day, it'll be a good gift for the world, although it's not great for him personally. But those Evo reverbs are something that we should encourage him to make as many of as possible, because they are something else. That's enough of that. Another guy said, Roxy Music? ? Yes, Roxy Music. Lots of feelings about Roxy Music, you know. I'm a big fan. You know, that is an acquired taste. Talk about some music that I like, that I could totally dig it if someone hated it. Roxy Music. I mean, Brian Ferry is definitely an acquired taste. I mean, he can be amazing on some songs, but it can be so hard to listen to on other songs, like that machine gun vibrato that he does, and he's not exactly the most in-tune singer you're ever going to hear. But man, the sax can be a little overbearing, but man, they did some amazing shit, and they were very original, and I really like Roxy Music a lot. I put that shit on, and it puts me in a good mood to listen to, and that's pretty much says it all right there. I really like the Buddy Jolly videos you told us about, Tom. You know, I sit and watch those, and I just laugh and laugh and laugh. Someone said it's like a wedding video. It is like a wedding video. It's hilarious, like just quick edits of all these things, totally unrelated. It's hilarious. You should check them out. If you want to see them, just they're all. If Tom Bukovac had a video editor, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can type it in like that. They're fun to watch. A lot of trips down memory lane there for me. You may not like it, and I dig that. Hey Tom, why don't you like Cream? You know, it's. I like some of it. I like some Cream. I like Badge. Badge is cool. I like it if Eric's singing. I can't take Jack's voice, man. It just drives me up a wall. And that's not saying he wasn't a fine singer and all that, and not saying that I couldn't understand how someone else couldn't like it. I just don't like it, you know. And voices are a real personal thing, right? I remember when I was growing up, I was listening to the Police records in my room, and my brother would walk by and go, "How can you listen to that shit? That guy's voice." And I'm like, "Sting?" And he's like, "God, it's terrible." And I'm like, "Man, I don't think it's terrible, you know." But man, everyone's different, right? That's what makes the world go round. The old saying. I hear you say, Tom, wedges are death all the time. Why is that? Because, here's why. Because men play with wedges. Okay? In-ears are for little girly men. And singers. But man, have you ever been to a concert where you're standing on the side by the monitor guy and the whole band is on ears? There's nothing more pathetic. Because it just doesn't even sound like a real band. All you hear is this tiny little noise, and everyone's all playing way too inside because they're all listening like they're in the studio. I mean, come on, man. Wedges are rock and roll, man. Wedges are like, that's what you should be playing through. I don't care if you're a singer or not. Just get you some wedges and play some rock and roll. Come on, people. Peeps. It's like the in-ears take the room out of the equation. You're not playing the room anymore. You're playing like you're in a studio, and that's not right, because we're taught since we're little children to play the room. You know, when you're playing in wedges, you're understanding the dynamic of the room. Yes, it can be annoying if it's a terrible sounding room, but come on now, get you some wedges. Boy, we're getting to the point now where some of these crew guys, they're so used to everybody being on in-ears that, like, when I say things like wedges or death, they give me that evil eye, like, oh no, old school guy. I'm like, yeah, damn right I'm old school. What did you listen to growing up? Mick Jagger wasn't wearing a fucking in-ears in 1972. I'll probably lose that argument down the road. Everyone thinks I'm a fucking weirdo. I am a weirdo. What else? Oh, here's an interesting one. A guy said, where do you think you are in your journey as a player? Do you feel like you are better than last year? What do you want to be better at? You know, that made me think. That really got me thinking there. You know, we all want to, I think we've talked about this before. We all want to think that we're progressing and growing as players, musicians. And, you know, I feel like I am. You know, I feel like I'm learning more. I'm refining certain things that I've always sort of wanted to get better at. I've definitely gotten better in the studio. More ideas, more better at making records. Really, that's what I'm studying more than anything, is like making records, how songs work, how the architecture of songs works. Guitar is great, and I love playing guitar, but it's just a small part of what I'm really trying to do. I like to get in the studio and figure out how to make good records. That's what I'm trying to do. And guitar is cool, but I don't really think about it in those terms. I'm just trying to think of like making records, right? So when I was thinking about the Alan Holdsworth thing, when I was talking about how amazing Alan Holdsworth was and is, you know, I started thinking, if somebody could implant a chip in my brain and all of a sudden Alan Holdsworth didn't exist, and I play exactly like Alan Holdsworth, but I couldn't play like me anymore. If I could just go to the Alan Holdsworth mod, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I love him and I love watching him do that. But I play the way I play because it's the music I like, you know? And I think we should all be in that boat, right? Everybody should be like that. I mean, if I wanted to play that Alan Holdsworth shit, I would have figured it out, you know? I mean, I could do that if I wanted to, but I just, like, I like to watch it as its own entity and just go, wow, that's amazing that he spent his whole life doing that. But I would never want to do that. I mean, that's not, like, I play the shit I want to play just because it's the music I like, right? And that's how everybody should be, you know? You shouldn't want to replace your knowledge with someone else's, right? I just don't. I mean, if you're just a terrible guitar player and you want to be a good guitar player, I get that. But if you're an established guitar player, you shouldn't want to change your personality and have somebody else's because what are you doing then? Because you should be playing what you want to play because it's the music you like, right? That's all I've ever done. Like, if I was really interested in a certain style of music or something, I just want to figure out how to do that very convincingly. I've never been compelled to learn all that jazz shit. I mean, I like to watch it and everything, but I wouldn't want to play like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not slighting Alan. I love Alan Holdsworth. You guys can feel that. I think he's fucking amazing, but I wouldn't want to play like that. You see what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? I hope that comes across right, because I just think we end up what we are because that's all the influences that we had and all that shit, right? That make any sense? I think I said it right. All right, that's it for today. What's a cool chord I could show you? Let's see. Let me just fish around until I find something cool. Remember when you were a kid and you figured out that if you play an F sharp chord and you let the two top notes ring, it's very cool? I remember that. I was probably about 11, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. One of the first songs I ever learned off a record just from listening was and I was at a club the other night watching Guthrie play, and I was talking to these young kids out in the front, and these guys from Norway, these dudes, sweet dudes. And I said, man, you know, Radar Love by Golden Earring. And they're like, what? These guys were in their 20s. And I said, yeah, you know that song. And they were like, no, never heard that. I go, it's one of the biggest hits in American history. They were like, no, it wasn't. And I said, dude. And I went around to a couple other people and I said, what's this song? And everyone was like, I don't know. I'm like, wasn't that a big hit? I thought it was. Think about how cool that riff. That's just some primitive shit right there, and it's so awesome. Let's see. Okay, that's a cool lick. That's another cool lick. I showed you that before, but dig it. F sharp, like you hold the high A, F sharp on 14. And you heard the major third on the 11th fret of the B string, B flat. You take the B flat on the, or the A on the 14th fret of the G and bend it. When you play that, they know you mean business. When you play that, they know you're there to play. And you can move that all around. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. All right, friends. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for sticking around and watching the show. Uncle Larry, over and out. Class dismissed.